And the whole thing, it's about, greed and envy and avarice and how it's all represented by meatloaf, strippers, and cursed raccoons.
Yeah, just the basics.
Yeah.
I worked up on Morse Road. Yeah, and I let you shoplift. You damn right I did.
Wow, this is the hottest sex scene of all time. She's just having a conversation the whole time.
Welcome to Fright Club. First rule of Fright Club, you do talk about Fright Club.
Nice. And we don't even have an applause sign in here. Listen to that. Thank you so much. Welcome back to Gateway Film Center, Columbus, Ohio, our home away from home, and we love it because it's Fright Club Live, second installment of our new Friday night. I think that's the feisty mood of the crowd. It's the weekend.
I
We're ready
think
to
you're
roll
right.
here.
They're drunk.
That's right. And she is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And we are from madwolf.com. Welcome back as we do Fright Club Live, and we talk about killer clothing.
That's right. We were going to say dress to kill, but that would only confuse people.
Just real quick, we usually wait till later to ask this. We're shown In Fabric. How many people have already seen In Fabric? Oh, just
only
3,
4?
Nice. That's great. Because it is one of those when you look at it, because it's part of the retrospective that Gateway was able to put together here for A24 Films because they're celebrating their 10th anniversary, right?
Yeah.
And they have such a great output in those 10 years. But I think In Fabric might have been one that really slipped through the cracks for a lot of people, as we can tell tonight.
Yeah, I think that is true. And it's Peter Strickland, and you should see everything he makes. And once you see this, you'll get a sense of whether you want to see everything he makes. But if you like this, you'll like all of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
he's just nuts.
One that we've talked about on the podcast before, one of our favorites is Barbarian Sound Studio.
Oh, yeah.
Is his. And then he just had his latest is I'm blanking on.
Flux Gourmet. Thank you very much. Yeah. Which is also nuts.
It is nuts, but in a good way.
Yeah.
So we're getting to that. But we want to say thank you last time because we talked about small town horror.
Right.
And there was a good reason for that.
Yeah, because I wrote a book, and we were. Thank you. Thank you.
There it is.
And we were pimping that. And also, if you don't like to read, you don't have to because we have an audiobook now. And George does it.
The audiobook,
of course he does.
The audiobook is available. Again, it's called Roost in both reading, the old-fashioned way.
That's right, the old-fashioned way. Or you can let George read it to you. And just, it's funny because my sisters are all characters shamelessly in this book. And my brother-in-law didn't read the book when it came out. But now that it's on audiobook, he listened to it. And he would just text me yesterday. He would record parts of it where George was reading aloud clearly lines that his wife, my sister, clearly that character. And one of them was, just go to the store, you lazy cow. And so it was funny. I just kept hearing George say Ellen lines that my brother-in-law was sending me over text yesterday. It was pretty funny.
It's a weird dynamic. So it's more of that fun in the book. But no, it's really good. And coincidentally, we happen to have some down here if you'd like it. We also have our Obstacle Corps T-shirts.
That's right. As modeled by.
Yes.
Right there in the front.
Thank you so much
That's
for wearing that. That's great. We have some of those. We have headbands and wristbands from Obstacle Corps. And we should give you an update. The film we're getting close, man. We are getting so close to the premiere, which is going to be right here at Gateway, the weekend of Nightmares Film Festival.
Yes. Please come see it.
The weekend of October 21st.
I'll be the one in the back trying not to vomit.
Tell you what, it's coming together really well. We're just down to sound correction and color correction. You watched the latest cut just this afternoon.
And we'll have picture lock a week from today.
So we're getting there. So thank you so much, and I hope you all come out for it. There'll be more, obviously, at madwolf.com and madwolf on Facebook. So, but we're getting off the topic. We did small town horror last time,
and I think the big win there is that Seth watched The Wailing and loved it.
Yeah,
as you all should. Watch The Wailing. Oh my God, it's a great movie.
Wailing is great.
It's such a great movie.
So we're so glad to participate in this A24 retrospective because this is the first of our 2 Fright Club events. Looking ahead to next month, it'll be September the 9th. We're going to show A24's The Black Coat's Daughter.
Such a great one.
Yeah.
And it's a great one to watch on the big screen because it's really just a masterclass in visual storytelling. I mean, it's one where really what happens on the screen tells a completely different story than just what the dialogue is telling you. It's just a beautiful movie and creepy as hell. And we're going to talk about Satanists. Oh, my God. I'm so excited to talk to you about Satanists in a horror movie because if there's one thing I like, it's a black mass.
So that's next month. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Tonight we're talking about Killer Clothing, and we're going to show one on the list as always. And, well, let's get to it.
Let's.
We don't have the trailers, but just, visualize. As I like to say, we'll fix it in post. And at number 5 in our list of Killer Clothing, this is from 2005. It's a woman who finds a pair of pink high heels on a subway platform, soon realizes that jealousy, greed, and death follow them wherever they go. This is The Red Shoes.
그냥 죽기만 했어. 죽기만 했다고.
One of my favorite things about this film called The Red Shoes is that the shoes are pink.
Yeah.
I always thought that was just fascinating. And they're very pink. They're like a purpley pink. There's no mistaking them for red. I think that's very funny and interesting. And if you're thinking The Red Shoes like that sort of, 1948 classic, it's they're all based on this Hans Christian Andersen story. And of course, his stories are so mean-spirited and awful. Hi!
Come on in.
It's Vernell, everyone.
Hey, welcome. Yeah, his stories. It is funny for how he's regarded as a children's stories. They take a dark turn, and this one even more because it's not it's their own visualization of his story.
Yes. So in this one, a woman who's recently divorced, she finds these shoes, and her young daughter is very envious and wants the shoes. And then the next thing she knows, so is her best friend, very envious and wants the shoes. And a lot of people are. And it is a Japanese film, and so there's, of course, a ghost story curse behind the shoes. Of course there is. And so we get to see some of the ghost story. It's very, it's very much a Japanese film. It's very got that circuitous sort of a storyline. There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of symbolism. The performances are great, especially the little girl. It is really, really creepy and very bloody. And I think that, for the Japanese horror that came out around the same time in the first sort of decade of 2000s, I think it's kind of underseen. It didn't make a big splash internationally. It's not a masterpiece, but it's a really good, spooky, gory film.
And does it? You'll have to tell me. Does it speak to the female experience of wearing painful shoes for the sake of fashion? I don't know.
I don't actually do that.
I'm not talking about you personally.
I'm really tall, so heels would just be ludicrous. So I don't know. I don't have any idea.
One way to look at it, or maybe not. And by the way, nice use of circuitous.
Yeah, thank you.
That was nice. So that is number 5, The Red Shoes, the 2005 version on our list of Killer Clothing. Oh no, you wanted to mention one more kind of in this subheading. You had the 1948
right.
The Red Shoes mentioned, and
the other one that is this movie reminds me very much of, and if you've seen it, you might think, what? But it does have the same basic moral, and it's one of the masters of horror, so it's not a full-length feature, but it's Pelts, the one with Meatloaf,
right?
Where he wears these, or he doesn't wear these. He brings strippers these fur coats made out of pelts, but they're cursed pelts. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing, it's about, greed and envy and avarice and how it's all represented by Meatloaf, strippers, and cursed raccoons.
Yeah, just the basics.
It's
the
very
basic
tidy.
themes.
You've seen it, a million times. But I didn't want to include it because we try not to include anything that's not a full-length feature film.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it when we did the Meatloaf podcast after he died.
Yeah.
But it sort of flies in the same area.
Yeah, definitely.
Worth mentioning anyway. All right, moving up to number 4. And this is one from just a couple of years ago from one of our favorite weird-ass filmmakers. This is a man's obsession with his designer jacket causes him to blow his life savings and turn to crime. This is Quentin Dupuy's Deerskin.
Moi, le plus cher, c'est d'être la seule personne au monde à porter un blouson. C'est une balade. Vous parler de mon blouson?
And if you don't know Quentin Dupieux,
get to know him.
Oh, man. He did Rubber years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm getting a no. I'm getting a no, a shaking the head no there. Rubber is about the killer tire.
Yeah.
Named Robert.
Yeah.
Which is great. I love it so much. And since then, what else has he done? He did the
So he did Wrong Cops.
Wrong
he
Cops.
did Wrong.
Yeah.
He did one last year where they adopt a giant fly. I know you saw it. Yeah, he's Quentin Dupieux. He's just nuts. He's clearly nuts. But he's an absurdist and one of the few that, are still working today. Like he's a full-blown, there's no way around it. He's an absurdist filmmaker. And this is one of his really more mainstream sort of films. I mean, the whole plot makes sense to a certain degree. And I feel like it's the most semi-autobiographical of all his movies because this guy decides to make a film about this deerskin jacket that he bought online. And the longer he starts working with another filmmaker to help him make his film because he doesn't know what he's doing, and then starts to realize maybe he's a dumbass. And I feel like, when you're making really absurd films and people just keep going, this is stupid. Like maybe that's, he wants very much to rid the world of jackets because his jacket is so very nice.
It is too. It's a sweet jacket. It's got the fringes, and it's brown. Yeah.
And it's
Jean Dujardin.
Yes,
from
Oscar
The Artist.
winner from The Artist.
From The Artist. Yeah.
He's the guy. It's just really fun to see him play this role. I mean, the movie is nuts, and you'll never figure out where it's going, which is one of the great things about Dupieux's films, is that you just don't have any idea what's going to happen next, which is super fun, actually. If you watch as many movies as we do, and you cannot predict what's going to happen next, it's super fun. So, it's barely a horror film. They do murder a lot of people. A lot of people die.
Well, they did
So
in Rubber, too, and it still had that really fun, oh, look at that tire. But it's also barely, 70 minutes?
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's a quick one.
Yeah, it's a quick one.
It's a quick one, but man, it's fun and it's absurd. And if it's your introduction to Quentin Dupieux, I think, if you like that, seek them all out.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he's one now that we want to see everything he's doing. It's one of those. It makes me, what it makes me think of? It makes me think of Drive, because you walk with the jacket that he was wearing, with the scorpion on the back, like that.
That's right. That's swagger
That
right
is
there.
swagger right there. So that's Deerskin, number 4 on our list of killer clothing. Moving up to one from, this was just 2 years ago, and this is when a possessed pair of jeans. Yeah, come on.
You knew.
Begins to kill the staff of a trendy clothing store. It's up to Libby, an idealistic young sales clerk, to stop its bloody rampage. Say it with me. Slacks!
Yeah, we knew it was coming.
Jeans that automatically adapt to your body. A lot of people have been very keen to get their eyes on it. Jeans that automatically adapt to your body size.
Oh my God. I'm so totally excited I could just die.
Get ready for Slacks.
How fun is this movie? One of the things that's so great, I think, is, and I never worked in retail. You did, at least for a minute.
Yeah, I worked up on Morse Road at the old, who remembers the record and tape outlets from back in the day? Yeah, RTO. I worked up on Morse Road. Yeah, and I let you shoplift. You damn right I did. And I had to snap, I had to snap all the cassettes. Remember those white cases? I had to sit back there and just snap them in, only to unsnap them when people bought them. But I digress.
That's okay. PTSD. One of the things I love about this movie is how accurate to me it seems. Again, I've never worked in retail, but how accurate the sort of douchebaggery inside the store is. Like, your ecosystem, my ecosystem. I mean, just the language, the lingo, I thought was hilarious. But then also, the slacks when they were when they were moving around and they were, oh my God, it was so fun. And actually, once it got to it, very bloody. I mean, they were angry, those slacks. Also, that's the funniest word to me. Slacks.
I'm
going to keep saying it.
I think we should use this occasion to bring it back.
Slacks.
Let's all just leave here tonight and start working slacks into the conversation. and see if we can start a social movement. But, yeah, this was actually featured in 2019. This was featured on a list of 10 movies you won't believe actually got made. I don't know who compiled that list.
It wasn't me. I could do better.
I bet you can. That's a podcast idea right there. We can't believe they made it. But it is.
Killer Condom ranks way higher,
Yeah.
I think. And that almost made this list. You do wear them.
Well, you don't. Yeah, this is fun. I mean, the effects are so cheap, but they're purposely cheap.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
almost like it has to be that way,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
The tone is so spot on, and the performances really are too. I mean, and I think horror comedies are hard to nail, and they do. They nail this tone beginning to end. It's a very fun watch.
Yeah, it is. And even you even get the sense that it is trying to make a statement.
It is.
In its own weird way.
Yeah.
But it is so much fun. You could tell from the reaction tonight.
Yeah.
People have there's love for slacks.
That's right.
Slacks. And start using it, people. I'm telling you. And that's number 3 from 2020 on killer clothing. So, boy, as always, especially since we started late, we're up against the clock. We got to move.
Good thing we're not showing trailers.
Number 2. That's right. Number 2 from 2014. Oh, we've talked about this one before. This one's good. A loving father finds a clown suit for his son's birthday party, only to realize that it's cursed. It's clown.
Where's Daddy? He's gonna miss the clown.
There was a little bit of a goof up.
There's no clown coming.
Who double books a clown?
I thought you had a backup.
Everything's gonna be fine.
I physically cannot get it off.
It's suffocating.
It's not a costume. It's skin of a demon.
What are you doing down there, Daddy?
Come downstairs. I want to see my number 1 birthday boy.
Just picture a clown in your head right now.
So John Watts, I remember when they were like John Watts, this nobody director is going to do Spider-Man. I'm like, I know who he is. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, I am so in. And then still, when you watch the new Spider-Mans, which are I love these Spider-Mans because I really like Tom Holland.
Mm-hmm.
He's just adorable. But you would not have known that this man's first feature film. Well, a man eats children.
Yeah.
A man follows children into like the bounce house and then just eats them. That's quite something. It is a fascinating movie. There's a great Peter Stormare cameo. You never go wrong there. And yeah, this dad, he just puts on a clown suit that he finds in a house that he's about to sell. Like he's just going through this stuff, and the clown didn't show up for his kid's birthday party. So he's like, oh God, how lucky am I? He's not.
He's not lucky.
He's not lucky. And then he tries to take it off later, and it just won't come off. And it's because it's about to become his own skin, because it's a monster and it feeds on children because clowns are fucking terrifying. And it is unafraid to take you places. This movie is. I was really pretty impressed by that. You know, it's like it doesn't pull a lot of punches, and you really do feel badly for this man. He's a very nice man. He seems like it. He seems like he's really interested in his son. His son is cute. That's going to be a problem because the suit wants to eat it. Oh my God. It is. There's a lot of anxiety in this movie.
And of course, it plays on so many people's just anxiety about clowns anyway. In fact, this was the poster itself was censored in Italy for being too scary. Just the poster of the clowns. But yeah, it is weird. It is weird when he puts on a suit and can't take it off, which makes you think he should have worn slacks. Yeah. See? You start working it in. You're working it in. And actually, the actual clown suit was originally to be set to be designed by Vivienne Westwood, but she went on to design Carrie Bradshaw's wedding dress for Sex and the City. So
I think she missed an
She
opportunity.
chose poorly.
But
the clown suit was creepy. Especially when he's trying to take it off.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Yeah, and the nose.
Yeah, and the nose gets all
yeah.
Really creepy. And a good one.
Hey, you know who else has creepy clowns?
Obstacle Corps.
There are clowns in
Our
Obstacle Corps,
movie
by the
has
way.
creepy clowns.
It does. Yeah. You're welcome.
And this is just for you because we're friends. Spoiler alert: one of them smokes.
That's right. He's a bad Joe.
He's a bad Joe. So that is a clown number 2 on our Killer Clothing Top 5 on Fright Club Live. Let's move it up to number 1. And this is, of course, the one we're going to see tonight. so we won't talk much about it because only a few people have seen it, which we love. But this is a haunting ghost story set against the backdrop of a busy winter sales period in a department store and follows the life of a cursed dress as it passes from person to person with devastating consequences. It's in fabric.
A purchase on a horizon?
I'm just looking, thank you.
The hesitation in your voice, soon to be an echo in the recesses of the spheres of retail. The dress is your image, onto what you project through an illusion.
I'm just going on a date. I don't normally wear this kind of thing.
Be bold. Your date will compliment you.
I love reading or hearing plot synopses of Peter Strickland's movies.
Yeah, you're right.
Because I thought, is that what it is? Because I've seen it a number of times, and I don't think I knew that's what it was. But I mean that in a good way. I mean, the movie is completely insane.
It really is.
But one of the things that is so great about it, and we're not going to talk about it because we don't want to spoil anything,
right.
Although I really don't think we could. Nonetheless, the performances are just amazing in this movie. And there's the central performance, the lead. She's great in every single thing she's ever done ever. And it's just so great to see her in this movie. And she's so good that she makes everything, no matter how bizarre, seem like, okay, that's happening right now. So we're not going to say anything else about it.
Marianne Jean-Baptiste.
Oh, my God, I did not say her name. I'm
Isn't
sorry.
Isn't she great?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't say her name.
She's so great. Yeah,
she's
we got
so
to
great
give
in
her
everything.
credit.
And and you're so used to seeing her in like Mike Mills' movie and like really good, solid movies. You're thinking to yourself, okay, well, this is going to be normal. It's really not.
And then she
like
played
in any way.
Mrs. Claus in Mel Gibson's Fat Man. She was But she classed that up.
She could do so much better than him.
She classed that up. Yeah. She's great in this, and just keep. Yeah, we don't want to say much, but keep an eye on when you see like there's a newspaper and some ads. Just if you can, keep an eye on some of the other headlines in the newspaper because they're funny.
Yeah.
And then after, of course, we want to get your reactions. So come down after, and we'll talk about it, and we'll get you on the podcast, especially for a movie like this where it's open to interpretations. Nice, thank you for that.
Thank you.
In color. Okay. So we'll be watching that here in just a couple of minutes and come down and we'll talk about it. And if you don't have a Fright Club button, get one of those. We got plenty down here. And on top of that, we're just looking ahead. Well, we talked about next month. We'll be back here on September the 9th for The Black Coat's Daughter.
In between now and then, we're going to have some guests on from the Mad Wolf Pack. Schlocketeer, Daniel Baldwin, and Brandon Thomas are going to join us. We're going to have them on the show. They've actually each been on separately. This will be the first time they've been on in tandem. So that's good. That's the next
right in studio version.
In studio version.
And what's the topic? I forget.
Mainstream directors doing horror films.
Okay. They don't usually do, but they're coming over to our side.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of rules, and I haven't laid the rules on our co-hosts just yet, but I am developing them as we stand here.
All right. So that's the next studio version, and again, we hope to see you back on September 9th for The Black Coat's Daughter. Until then, you can always find us on Twitter. It's at Fright Club Pod, and also the Facebook Fright Club group. We always have some fun in there. If you're not a member, thank you. I remember to mention it this time. If you're not a member, just reach out and we'll get you in there. We have some fun stuff, and then we keep up on horror movies and what's going on, especially what's going on here, Gateway as well. So we'd love to have you join, and we're on Facebook and Instagram. It's Mad Wolf Columbus. And, of course, the main website where all of our fun stuff is madwolf.com. What else we got going on? Of course, the movie, Obstacle Corpse, the book, Roost. Shoot, do we sleep?
Not very much.
So all that's coming up, the movie here in just a couple of minutes. Come on down afterwards and let's talk. So that's it, all right?
That's it.
All
let's
right.
roll it.
1 hour and 58 minutes later.
If you're like me, you're just so tired of movies like this, the same plot, just over and over again.
Canapé conversations.
Yes, and I know I heard people behind me, I know you were catching some of the stuff, like the color was artery.
Yeah.
The color of the dress was artery.
Yeah.
And some of those headlines in the report, the rudest waiter award was given, stuff like that. It is so great. It's that's what this Peter Strickland, he's just on another wavelength.
Yeah, he is.
And this was just fascinating. And now the second or third time I've seen it, it's even funnier.
It is really funny, and I love so much about this. He's got these elements of giallo throughout this movie, but it completely like upended. Like it's the opposite of what you normally expect to see in that. I love the way he just totally fetishizes like consumerism.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of horror films are about that. Most of Romero's films are about that. But in this, I mean, it's just so bizarre the way he does it. It's so there's something so just subversively retro about everything he has in this film.
And the sales lady, she reminded me. Remember years ago, and I don't watch QVC or I don't watch those, but there used to be this one lady.
I knew who was going to say.
There
He did watch this one lady.
She could sell me anything at all. And the phrases that the sales lady came up with, they were so captivating. And then, of course, the two guys, Stash and Clive.
Oh, God, they were great.
Who reminded me of Bob and Bob in Office Space.
Bob's So the one is Steve Oram. We showed the Dark Song here at one point, and he's the like conjurer in the Dark Song. And at some point, we're going to show a movie that he stars in called Ah! That's what it's called. That's what it's called. I love that guy. I love Steve Oram. And we also showed Sightseers. He's the star of that.
Oh,
so anyway.
yeah. Well,
we're big fans of his.
Because one of the, I don't know if you saw, the executive producer is Ben Wheatley, of this movie. So, yeah, that could be a connection there. Yeah, you nailed it with the consumerism and the fetishism. I mean, they were fetishing some weird stuff.
Like washing machine stuff. Oh, my God. Yeah, it's funny because I knew that was coming. I was like, T -5, fourth. I just wanted to hear it. Yeah, and the whole crowd was like, what?
I wanted something different after the last movie I saw, and this was different.
It was different.
They took Star Trek techno jargon and turned it into washer techno jargon. And I believe that there were witches and it's a coven, maybe? But then again, trying to explain this movie is like, no, there is no explanation.
I do love the coven idea. I love the people who work in the department store and the outfits that they're wearing. I'm like, what are they wearing? It's like this weird Victorian garb. Like, what is going on there? And they're like living mannequins. They love mannequins. They're fans of mannequins. And there was so much to unpack in this movie.
It did. It had a coven sort of vibe about it.
Yeah, it totally did.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
The baby flipping him off was.
Oh, that was right.
Beautiful.
Oh, that was.
That's all.
That was chef's kiss right there.
Yeah.
That was really, really funny.
And not only flipping him off, but it was a slow, just winding it up. You knew it was coming, and then there it was. Yeah, it was great.
I also thought it was funny that everybody seemed. I'm not sure what was going on with the washer speak. Like what effect that they were getting out of that. But then, and it was like the most incredibly, least sexy man on earth who was delivering the speech. And in case you didn't know that, there was a sex scene. I'm like, wow, this is the hottest sex scene of all time. She's just having a conversation the whole time.
And it's also the way it breaks with its storytelling because you're so invested
you are.
in Sheila's story, right?
Yeah.
And then she's gone. Yeah, and then she's gone, and that's really unusual. Of course, he's going to be a storyteller that's going to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's really weird because you just stop, and you normally would be maybe the movie's over. That's like halfway done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
exactly.
it picks up something completely different.
If you love the main saleswoman, she's in almost all of his films.
Let's see if I can pronounce her name. Sidsa Babbitt Knudsen. Best I can do.
And she's the main character in Flux Gourmet. She's the main character in The Duke of Burgundy. She's just mesmerizing. The whole time I just feel, you know what? I think I only catch 60% of what she says. And still, I'm just like, where is she again? She's the one I'd like to.
I don't care, though. She can talk to me in another language. I really don't care.
Yeah.
And also, in Flux Gourmet, in this movie, her boss, that weird dude, he has a bigger part in Flux Gourmet.
He does. He has lines.
Yeah.
He has lines in Flux Gourmet, although he's just as sketchy.
No, it gave me Suspiria vibes.
Yeah.
But it was really weird because, like we were talking up there, what period of time was that in? Was it now or was it like the 70s? It was really weird. Like I couldn't pinpoint a time that it was at.
Well, I think the 70s was a good bet because of the answering machine and the telephones.
70s or the 80s.
Yeah,
but I
maybe
do think,
early
80s.
80s.
There's definitely a giallo kind of a feel about
yeah,
it. There was
for
sure. I think that, especially with the very red, like the real.
So red.
Like
artery red.
Yeah, artery red.
The witch vibes, too, like the coven
For sure.
vibes. Like
Yeah, for sure.
Suspiria just was the first thing I thought of. And slacks, by the way, too.
Yes. Okay. We got.
That's the whole problem. If she'd have just not bought a dress and just gone for a nice pair of slacks, everything would have been
brought
fine.
it back to slacks. We can't do any better than that. Thank you guys so much. This has been a blast.
Yes,
this has been a lot of fun.
fun.
I think we're off and running on the Friday nights. So we'll have this edited and good to go, I think, on Tuesday.
Yeah, probably
And,
on Tuesday. Come
yeah.
back on the 9th of September, and we can watch The Black Coat's Daughter and talk about Satanists.
All right, so until next time, she is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And this is the Fright Club podcast.
Stay frightful, my friends.
Thanks a lot, you guys. Have a great night. Thank you so much.